Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Legacy Cube draft. I haven't drafted counter spells in a while. Let's draft this Mana Leak and see what happens. It's nice because it's one of the only blue cards in this pack. Alright, pack 2, we got Teferi Time Raveler, which is crazy good. There's also Terramander, Repeal, Electrolyze. But I think this is probably a Teferi pick here. Pretty much hands down. Alright, Forbid seems pretty strong. We got Forbid cast against us not that long ago, and it was unfortunate for us. So I'm gonna take Forbid. Let's see, Chart a Course, Baleful Strix, Chromatic Lantern, Parallax Wave, Elite Spellbinder. I think Baleful Strix is probably the best card for us. If not, it's Chart a Course. Porter is rubbing his very cold and wet nose all up and down my arm trying to get me to throw a toy that he miraculously woke up as soon as I started recording. He was out cold and he was like, "Oh, Dad's recording, time to play." Just being a dork. I'm going to take Chart a Course. I don't want to add another color yet if I can avoid it. Baral seems kind of nice, just getting a loot whenever we counter a spell or something like that. Wrath of God might actually be better if I want to play an actual hard control game. I'm going to take Wrath of God. I think it's less likely to be picked, but it's an effect we actually need a lot more of, or a lot sooner, so that we can focus our picks on fixing and stuff like that. Legion's Landing is better in a aggressive deck. Banishing Light is somewhat playable. Delver is as well. I'm not a huge fan of Delver. I think I take Drowned Catacomb, and then maybe we wheel Damnation or Banishing Light. This potentially opens up picking a couple of black spells for us. Murmuring Mystic is great in a deck like this. Supreme Will just being another counterspell or an impulse is also strong. Hymn to Turok is also crazy good in just about any deck that could cast it, but double black on turn 2 with all of these other cards means we would have to have basically perfect mana, and that's something that's very difficult to achieve in Cube. I think I'm going to take Murmuring Mystic. If we can get Murmuring Mystic and Monastery Mentor, we would be in a great spot. Alright, so we can get Slash the Ranks, although it's worse than Wrath because it hits Planeswalkers. I can take Mana Confluence to make our mana better. This is not going to be a Thalia deck, unfortunately. I don't like Jace Mirror Mage, and Heartless Act is a decent removal spell, but I'm thinking we can get better removal spells. I'll just take the Mana Confluence. Alright, I could take Wandering Fumarole, and maybe we can play Jeskai instead of Esper. Bone Shredder, I'm not a huge fan of. Agadeem's Awakening, I don't think will have a lot of value in this deck. I'll take Fumarole. Needle Spires is another great Jeskai pick. Terramander is more of a tempo play, but it does turn on Chart a Course quickly, and does present an actual threat. Grim Lavamancer and Brightling I think are going to be worse than Terramander for us, so I'll take Terramander. Who knows, maybe we are playing Delver. Whirler Rogue, Rishadan Port, Emeria's Call. Emeria's Call is good late game top end. Yeah, I'm going to take Emeria's Call. Whirler Rogue would be fine, but I guess we take Stratus Dancer. Not a huge fan of it, but we're not playing Goblin Guide, and Smiting Helix is too many colors for what we're trying to accomplish. Brawl's fine. I guess Regisaur is technically more castable, so we'll put that in the sideboard. And a Rift Bolt, which, if we're playing Jeskai, is not unreasonable. Alright. So, Bone Crusher Giant is by far the better spell than Lightning Helix if we're playing Jeskai. Just because of the innate card advantage stapled onto this creature. I want to take Lightning Helix, though, because I really like Lightning Helix. Baneslayer Angel will almost certainly wheel. This is not a Ravages of War deck. We don't need Mind Stone, so I'm going to take Giant. We'll still see about being Jeskai. Not 100% on that yet. So a few different good cards in this deck, or in this pack. I could take City of Brass for fixing, it would be fine. Force of Negation actually seems somewhat decent because we have a lot of blue cards. It synergizes well with Murmuring Mystic. It lets us tap out to play him and then protect him. Saheeli Sublime Artificer would also be another Murmuring Mystic-like effect, but I think we take Force. Hopefully Flame Slash, Saheeli, or Frost Titan, or Elspeth comes around. Something from that pack should come around, hopefully. Alright, it's a little late to be taking Opposition. We have nowhere near the ramp mana necessary for Upheaval to be good. I could take Cold Steel Heart here for fixing. It's not really a Through the Breach deck. I could play Forsake the Worldly as a cantrip, with marginal upside. But I think I'm going to take the fixing simply because I don't have a lot. Alright, Thraben Inspector is another way to turn on Chart a Course. There's a Sacred Foundry, which does make Jeskai mana way better for us. Yorion we could play. I think I have to take the Sacred Foundry here. If we're going to legitimately play 3 colors, we're going to need a lot more fixing than we have. Alright, Mana Tithe is like somewhat hilariously playable. If we were going to go taller, I would take Hedron Archive. Faithless Looting is not bad either. I think I'm going to take Inspiring Vantage. Mana Tithe will likely wheel, and I wouldn't be opposed to playing it either if it did. Royal Eruption is good removal plus burn spell. Embereth Shieldbreaker, I don't think we actually need the creature section, and it's just a smelt. So I'll take the burn. Nothing else in this pack is really exciting. We might get a Lyra later, but this is a good Daze deck. Kind of sad to pass Wasteland. I like taking Wasteland in basically any format it's available. Thirst for Knowledge would be good card advantage. Luterial Core wouldn't be bad either, but take Daze. 2-mana counter spells are good. I could take Anger to have another sweeper. Seasoned Pyromancer is really pretty good as well. We don't have Brainstorm, we don't have Jace, and Bonfire is better when you have Ramp anyway. I'm going to take Seasoned Pyromancer. This is fine to take Baneslayer, I think. I think we gotta take Flame Slash. We need some cheap instants and sorceries. Saheeli is great, but I don't think this is a Through the Breach deck. I'm actually gonna take Forsake the Worldly, and I'll put that in the sideboard. Conclave Tribunal is playable. I will take Faithless Looting because this is not an Arcane Artisan deck. Although with Arcane Artisan and Through the Breach wheeling, it means nobody's in the Sneak Attack archetype. And a random Whip of Erebos. Okay, so in this pack we have Dak Faden, Shark Typhoon, Muldrifter. I'm going to take the Planeswalker. Heck, at this point I might just be splashing white for Teferi. Shark Typhoon I think is a lot better in this deck. Yeah, I'm going to take the Planeswalker. There's a Remove Soul and Oust. Don't think this is an Obosh deck. There's Sneak Attack. Emrakul already went by. Yeah, I'm going to take Remove Soul. Maybe I should be taking Thing in the Ice, but I like counter spells. There's a Lightning Bolt, Pact of Negation, Champion of Wits. And by Lightning Bolt, I mean Chain Lightning. I'm going to take Chain Lightning. Mystic Confluence is definitely too good to pass. So we're taking Mystic Confluence. Dreadhorde Arcanist. We only have 3 1-drop spells. I'm going to take Splinter Twin just in case we happen to see Deceiver Exarch or Pestermite before this is up. We can speculate on a Splinter Twin. I do like Cryptic here. Chandra isn't bad. I don't think Lightning Phoenix is good. Yeah, we'll just take Cryptic Command. I don't think we're playing white. I think I'll splash white for Teferi, but I don't think we need to play white. Well, I guess we take Hour of Devastation as like a big sweeper. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut white. And I may not even be playing Teferi. And if that's the case, I picked only like 2 lands for fixing. And I didn't see like any other Izzet colored fixing. Okay, Young Pyro fits the strategy of our deck quite well. Expressive Iteration is also very good, but I think we need to take Young Pyro because I'm a little bit threat light. Is this kind of just another Murmuring Mystic, but a lot cheaper? Synergizes very well with Daze. Let's see, PN Kirin, Outpost Siege. I guess I take PN Kirin. I'm not thrilled about it though. We did not find a single Splinter Twinnable creature really. Like I could put Splinter Twin on Siege Gang Commander as an example, but do we want Siege Gang Commander or do we want Thing in the Ice? I think I'm going to take Thing in the Ice. I'm not a huge fan of Thing in the Ice. Champion of Wits is fine here. I'll take Magda, because it's technically castable. Dreadhorde Arcanist, because it technically fits in this strategy. Although Lightning Greaves might actually be better. But I'll put Arcanist in the sideboard. If I had both Bolt and Chain Lightning, I think Arcanist would be a lot better. Yawgmoth in the side. And an Unexpectedly Absent in the side. Alright, so I need to cut one card, and it's probably Hour of Devastation. Alright, that was easy. Let's go ahead and play it. Yeah, I'll see you guys in round one. Alright, I think I can keep this. We're basically playing Twinless Splinter Twin. Or win conditionless blue-red tempo. So counter burn maybe, but we play an island, pass to our opponent. They play a forest. We draw a mountain, so play an island, play Thing in the Ice. Pass the turn. If opponent is playing something this slow, as long as they don't have Channel Emrakul, it might be... Actually, is Channel in Legacy Cube? I don't know if it's in Legacy Cube. They play Fauna Shaman. We untap. We draw another mountain. Play a mountain. Let's go ahead and Chain Lightning. Counter off of Thing in the Ice. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a forest. Morph. Yeah, I'm actually going to counter that. It was Rattleclaw Mystic. We untap and draw Dak Faden. So, play Dak Faden. Uptick Dak. Let's draw and discard. I don't think we're going to need Young Pyro. So I'm going to discard Young Pyro and a mountain. Pass the turn. Mystic Confluence should do a lot of work. And our opponent seems pretty far behind. They play a forest, and they just pass. They got nothing. We draw Seasoned Pyromancer. I should have upticked Dak first, but uptick Dak. Discard an island and Pyromancer. Pass the turn. We can make we can make Seasoned Pyromancer tokens if we need to. Okay, opponent plays a forest. Walking Ballista X2. So let's Mana Leak, draw. Counter off of Thing in the Ice. We get Flame Slash and Daze. We untap. We draw Cryptic Command. Let's loot. I think we discard Flame Slash and Daze. Play an island. Royal Eruption our opponent. Flip Thing in the Ice. Go to combat. And hit them for 7. We'll leave up Cryptic. Pass the turn. We're pretty close to alting Dak, but we don't have anything that targets. I think I've discarded most of our targeted spells. Opponent plays Nykthos. They play an Arbor Elf, sure. And they pass. We untap. We draw a mountain. Go to combat. Attack for 7. Opponent no blocks. They go to 3. So let's chart a course. Play a mountain. And just Rift Bolt you. Nice. Well, that worked out better than expected. I am going to bring an Hour of Devastation versus this opponent. I think it is probably better than Stratus Dancer. And we'll try like this. Alright, this hand seems very good versus our opponent's deck. If they lead on a Mana Dork, it's getting a Chain Lightning. Alright, we draw a thing, play an island to leave up Daze, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they play a forest, they Rampant Growth, that's fine. They get a forest, we untap, we draw a Flame Slash, play a mountain, play Thing in the Ice, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they play a forest, they play Jade Light Ranger, that's fine. So they get to explore, getting an Arbor Elf on top. They leave Arbor Elf on top and then put it in the grave. Okay. We untap. We'd like to draw lands. That's a land. Play an island. Flame Slash. Take a counter off thing. Play Baral. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw a card. They play Plains. They play Questing Beast. I mean, they're playing around Daze. I don't think we Daze. No, I don't think we Daze. So they attack us for 4, that's fine. We untap, we draw a Rift Bolt. We can suspend Rift Bolt, or we can just cast it for 2. Yeah, let's suspend Rift Bolt. Pass the turn. No attacks. I mean, I guess I could have attacked and maybe got a Chain Lightning there, but they play a mana, they're up to 6. They go to combat, attack us for 4. We go to 12. They play Master of the Wild Hunt. Okay. We untap, Rift Bolt coming off suspend, kill Master, counter off thing, we draw Terramander, play Terramander, pass the turn, no attacks. Now we can Bone Crusher Giant Stomp, Daze, and pay for it to flip thing, and we might do that on my opponent's end step. The problem is we can't cast Cryptic if we do, but it really depends on what they play here. Elder Gargaroth. Alright, we are going to flip thing. So stop on our opponent's end step. Stomp our opponent. Float mana. Daze Stomp. Flip. Unsummon everything. Pay for days. Opponent takes 2. We untap. We draw an island. Play an island. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 7. Take them to 11. Cast Bone Crusher Giant. Now, basically, if our opponent doesn't have an answer for these creatures, if they just replay Gargaroth, or they play Questing Beast and attack, we just Cryptic, tap all their guys, and kill them. Unless they have a path. They don't attack. Alright, they're dead. We draw a force. Play an island. Tap our opponent's creatures. And we win. Well, that was a really good matchup for us. We have tons of interaction and counterspells for their big threats, so I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, round 2. I will be keeping this. Play an island, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Stomping Ground untapped into a Baumat Courier. We untap and draw Murmuring Mystic. So I'm going to leave up Mana Leak this turn. Hopefully my opponent taps out and then we can steal their Baumat Courier. They play a Lotus Cobra, so that's getting countered. We attack for 1. We draw Royal Eruption. So I can either Dak Faden, down tick to gain control of Baumat Courier, or I could play Baral and kill it. I think I play Baral and kill it. Pass the turn. Hopefully they play a bigger artifact that we can mind control. We draw Chain Lightning. So go to combat. Attack for 1. And we're going to go ahead and morph Stratus Dancer. Pass the turn. So we have an instant or sorcery morph counter. Opponent plays Clothis. We untap and draw Mana Confluence. Play Mana Confluence. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 3. And I'm going to go ahead and play Murmuring Mystic. Pass the turn. So opponent's going to exile Royal Eruption, drain us for 2. They're playing Jund Colors of Mana. They're tapping for 3. Kolaghan's command, they're going to pick up Baumat Courier and kill our Stratus Dancer. I mean, do I just Chain Lightning and Rift Bolt their face? I'm gonna. Rift Bolt, make a token. Chain Lightning, make a token. Go to combat. Attack for 2, take them to 8. Now we have blockers for the Courier. Opponent takes our Chain Lightning and drains us for 2. They play Freebooter and take Dak Faden like a jerk. Then they play Courier. We untap and draw a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack for 2. I'm going to hold this Mountain in hand. Opponent takes 1. Clothis providing insane value to our opponent. I think the burn face move there was pretty aggressive. I probably should have kept the burn to answer onboard threats. We untap. We draw Seasoned Pyromancer. Excellent. Play Mountain. Play Pyromancer. We'll go ahead and draw 2. We get a Daze. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Okay. Opponent chumps, takes 1. Then passes. They untap. They drain us for 2. We go to 9. Opponent plays a Legion Warboss, which I'm going to cast and actually take the damage off of because if I draw Cryptic, I want to be able to play it. I also get a loot. Ditch an island. Opponent passes. We draw Force. Play an island. Go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent prevents 1 damage and takes 3. Pass to our opponent. They draw. They drain us to 6. They go back to 11. They play a Plains, so they are 4 color. Or 3 color, I guess. No, 4. Toski. Okay. We untap. We draw a Mountain. Well, gonna hold the Mountain in hand. Go to combat and pass. I'm holding the Mountain because if I loot off a Force of Negation, I might be able to get something. Toski has to attack, so we can just, like, chump it. Or just block it. Opponent is deep in the tank. Opponent still in the tank. Alright, opponent passes priority. They draw. They exile Daze. They drain us for 2. Opponent really has no incentive to cast anything else. Okay, they cast Karn, so force Karn. We get to loot. Terramander, discard Mountain. Opponent attacks with Toski. We block it for free. Untap. We draw Flame Slash. So, let me math here. I can Flame Slash Freebooter, play Dax, steal Bombat Courier, then attack for 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, and then still have tokens to block. I mean, that seems good. Go to combat. Attack with everyone. Take them to 4. Pass the turn. I mean, they could have a Boros Charm or direct damage, and we might be dead. Because we'll be down to 2. Post Clothesing. Exile Flame Slash. We go to 2. They play an Arid Mesa. They fetch. What am I dead to? Glorybringer? Lingering Souls is pretty annoying. That might give them enough blockers to win. Toski has to attack us. We're not... Are we going to block? We are going to... We have 1... Terramander is not going to make it through for damage. I'm going to block with Terramander. Alright, we untap. We draw Chartacourse. I think we've used all of our direct damage. They have 4 blockers, so they can block here. They can block 3 1/1s, or 1 power creatures. Then they would take 5? Are they dead on board? I think they are. Go to combat. Attack with everybody. Yeah, they're dead on board. Nice. Actually shouldn't have blocked. I should have done combat math first. But you know how that goes. Kano doesn't read. Everything worked out in our favor. So versus this opponent, I may actually want Hour of Devastation. It's probably better than Stratus Dancer. Yeah, alright. I could splash white and play Forsake the Worldly to deal with Klothys. Alright. Did not end up playing white. I am going to keep this, though. Opponent starts Badlands Inquisition. Do we force this? I don't think we do. We just let them take whatever they're going to take. Which might be Bone Crusher Giant. They take Force. Alright. That was, I think, the least valuable. Unless they've got something on 2 that's going to be really good. Lead on Mountain, pass the turn. They play Forest into a Mind Stone. We draw Mystic Confluence. Play Mana Confluence, pass the turn. We have Mana Leak, and we have Bone Crusher Giant. I could have played Baral there, but I think holding up Mana Leak is way more important. Opponent plays Sorin. Mana Leak that. Can't really let a Planeswalker resolve. We untap and draw Chain Lightning. Play Baral. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Lotus Cobra. Into a fetch land. Well, they've got something. They get white mana off of Arid Mesa, and then they get Stomping Ground untapped, adding black mana. Lingering Souls. Flashback Lingering Souls. Alright, we untap. We draw an island, which is good. Play an island. Let's go ahead and Chain Lightning the Lotus Cobra. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Opponent no blocks. That's kind of what we anticipated. Then play Chartacourse. Pass the turn, leave up Stomp. Opponent untaps. They sack Mind Stone to draw. They play a Swamp. They play Sword of Fire and Ice, which we will be taking. They go to combat. They attack us for 4. No blocks. Take 4. We untap. We draw a thing in the ice. Play Dak Faden. Yoink. Go to combat. Hit him for 1. The plan is to eventually Hour of Devastation with our only creature wielding sword, which would be pretty sick. Opponent attacks Dak for 1, us for 3. Dak Faden down. We untap and draw an island. Play an island. Suit up. Go to combat. Attack them for 3. Kill a spirit. We draw a mountain. Pass the turn. Leave up Stomp. Opponent drawing a lot of lands. They play Xenagos the Reveler. They make a Satyr. So Hour of Devastation kills everything except Baral. Is it worth Bone Crusher Stomp to stop us from taking 2 damage? I actually think it is. We don't have any way to gain life, so we draw an island, play a mountain, just in case I really mess this up. Attack my opponent, shoot them for 2, get a Young Pyro, Hour of Devastation, pass the turn. Hour of Devastation, super good. when you're got a Sword of Fire and Ice that isn't yours. Opponent plays Kroxa. They don't have the mana to flash it back, though. We'll go ahead and ditch Champion of Wits. We untap, draw an island, play an island, go to combat, attack our opponent, shoot them and draw, Seasoned Pyromancer. Pass the turn. So we don't care about them playing Kroxa, because we have protection from Kroxa. We can also discard a card that prevents us from losing any life, like Seasoned Pyromancer. Then opponent plays Colossus, so we will draw 2 cards, and then Mana Leak. And the game is over. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, round 3, here we go. This hand is excellent. We can play Young Pyro and then protect it with Daze. If we draw another island, we have access to Forbid. If we draw another mountain, we have access to Seasoned Pyromancer. If we draw another land, we have access to Dack Fayden. So play an island, just in case we need to turn 1 Daze for some reason. Not sure what that reason would be, but it's better to leave the possibility open. Opponent plays a mountain and passes. We draw Bone Crusher Giant. Play Young Pyro. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. If they play anything, I'm dazing it. They play a Plains. Well, I can't daze the Plains, but they're Lightning Helix, so we daze. We get a token. Untap. Draw an island. Play an island, go to combat. Hit them for 3. Pass the turn, we'll leave up Bone Crusher. They play an island. Now they roast. So stomp their face. Make another elemental. They kill Young Pyro. Then they play Terramander. We untap and draw Pia and Kieran. Play an island. Go to combat. Attack for 2. I think I'm just going to leave up Forbid here. Or should I play Bone Crusher? I'm going to go ahead and play Bone Crusher. Pass the turn. Opponent's best way to answer this is with a Wrath, and that makes Terramander bad. They play a mountain. They play Hazoret. They still have 3 cards in hand, though. They attack us for 1. We untap and draw Mystic Confluence, which is a little far off. Go to combat. Attack for 6. Take them to 7. Pass the turn. We'll leave up Forbid. Opponent plays a mountain. 3 cards left in hand. So if I have to Forbid, I'm probably going to cast it with Buyback, but only if they cast a big spell. And if I have to cast with Buyback, I'm ditching Mana Confluence, or Mystic Confluence and Seasoned Pyromancer. They just ditch a card to Hazoret. Okay. They go to combat, they attack for 1. So they probably have a spell they can cast at instant speed. So we untap. We draw Baral. The problem is if they cast any spell, they kill Bone Crusher. They would take 2 and go to 5. And then I would have to basically play Baral or Dack Fayden. We're going to go for it. We have a lot of burn spells. I expect my opponent has something they can cast here for value. Like, we've already seen a bunch of cheap spells from them. So, opponent has Burst Lightning for a token. I don't think I'm going to counter that. So they can block with Hazoret. They take 1 and go to 6. Then we play Dack Fayden. Uptick and go Looting. Ditch Stratus Dancer and Baral. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw a card. So they can't attack with Hazoret unless they play a card from hand or ditch a card from hand. They play Phyrexian Revoker. Okay, that's an answer to Dack Fayden. Maybe I should have kept Baral. They attack us for 5. 6. Okay. Take 6, go to 10. Then they play Pianalar. We untap. We draw Cryptic. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent gets to draw. We're going to tap and draw on their beginning of combat. I could have done it on their upkeep just to make sure that I would be able to do it, but they adapt Terramander to make it big. Okay, so move to beginning of combat. And I could actually bounce the Revoker and tap, but I think tap and draw is better. Because this way, if I draw a mountain and like 2 burn spells in our 3 draws we have, it's amazing. Oh, whoops. Maybe I did need to actually bounce that. Yeah, I needed to bounce that Phyrexian Revoker. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, actually, yeah, I needed to bounce Phyrexian Revoker. That was really bad. Can I do anything? Hang on. They're going to attack. They can ditch to deal 2 to us. We take 5 because we can't block in the air. We block 2 things. We block 1 thing. We actually die. Okay. Alright. We're dead there. My bad. We kind of bricked on lands there for a second, but I'm going to play Hour of Devastation. Once again, over Stratus Dancer. And we'll try it like this. Alright, we'll play first. This hand is fine. We will keep. We have something to play on turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and turn 5. Lead on Mountain, pass the turn. Opponent leads on Wandering Fumarole. We draw Cryptic, which we will be able to cast this game, which is nice. They play Volcanic Island. They pass, so stomp their face. We untap. We draw Force of Negation. That is nice. That's actually a pretty good insurance policy. Play Bone Crusher. But it probably has Lightning Strike or Bolt or something. We don't want to force until after we play Murmuring Mystic, if at all possible. They have Roast, so they're going to take damage. Yeah. Ditch Chart, of course. We untap. We draw a Mountain. Play Mountain. Play Murmuring Mystic. Get in for 4. Opponent goes down to 12. They play a Mountain. Roast is one of the few 5 damage spells that exists that can actually answer a Murmuring Mystic. So if they want to kill Murmuring Mystic, odds are they're going to have to cast multiple spells. They play Revoker, naming Dak Faden. We untap. We draw Chain Lightning. So play Mana Confluence. Go to combat. Attack, attack. No blocks for the opponent. They take 5. We pass. We have Cryptic now. Opponent plays a Mountain. We didn't Chain Lightning because our opponent had the mana to reverberate it. Alright, we untap. We draw a Mountain. Play a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack, attack. If my opponent were to animate Fumarole, I would tap all creatures they control. Make a bird. Okay, opponent takes 5. And Chain Lightning with enough mana to play around Daze. Nice! Moving on to game 3. It looks like opponent was mana screwed there because they never got white mana. Run it back. This hand is slightly questionable, but I am going to keep because we have Force and Daze. Opponent leads on Bombat Courier. Okay, they hit us for 1. We go to 19. We untap and draw a Mountain. Play an Island. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an Island. Go to combat. They attack for 1. No blocks. Take 1, go to 18. Then they play Terramander. This is fine-ish. We untap. We draw Fumarole. Play a Mountain. Go looting. We would like to draw some burn spells. One of the cards we're discarding is almost certainly Fumarole, because I don't see a time that we're going to be able to play a tap land, basically at all. Flame Slash is nice, so is Hour of Devastation. So I think we're going to get rid of Fumarole and Force of Negation. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play Mana Confluence. Go to combat. Attack us for 2. We take 2. Wheel of Misfortune. Do I have to daze that? I'm going to daze this. That seems too dangerous to leave alive. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand, and they tapped out for this, meaning we have an opportunity here to Flame Slash that Bombat Courier and keep our opponent low on cards for the remainder of the game. We need to draw more action, and if we could draw another 1-mana burn spell, like if we could draw our Chain Lightning and wipe our opponent's board here, it'd be amazing. But there's no guarantee we'll be able to do that. Alright, we got the daze off. We untap. We draw a Mountain. Replay the Island. Flame Slash the Courier. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa. Gets in for 1. We take it and go to 15. We untap and draw Bone Crusher Giant. So play an Island. Pass the turn. This is 8 mana to activate, -1 for each instant and sorcery in the grave. Okay. Opponent cracks Arid Mesa, gets a Plateau. They untap, they draw a card, they play a land, they Chain Lightning our face, which we did not play double red. They go to combat, attack for 1, we'll take it, because I don't think they can activate it here, but we want to see if there's anything else they're going to do. There was some danger of, I guess, Fallen Shinobi there, but stomp, opponent has negate. Okay, we untap, we draw a Young Pyro. So they have 3 instants and sorceries in the grave, and 5 lands, which means we are taking a lot of damage next turn. We have to try an Hour of Devastation, and I'm not going to play out a creature only to just immediately get it removed. So opponent can dump all of their mana to adapt Terramander, And probably will. Okay. We have to hope they don't have days. They hit us to 6. We draw a mountain. Play a mountain. Hour of Devastation. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They have 2 cards in hand. Kind of hoping one is a land. Thunderbreak Regent will almost certainly kill us. We draw a thing in the ice. So play a mountain. Play Murmuring Mystic. And play thing. We can't target that dragon, and we just used our big sweeper. That's a really good top deck in this position. Maybe I should have been playing... I should have played out the double red to actually have access to the Chain Lightning, but blue mana seemed more important at the time. So I actually think I lost because of sequencing my lands and giving my opponent an opportunity to cast Chain Lightning when they did. Because if not, they would have stumbled for a turn. They wouldn't have had, like, the exact number of... Yeah, I don't think there's any way I cast 5 spells this turn, even with Faithless Looting. We take 4 and go to 2. We draw Mystic Confluence, but we die as soon as we target this. Cast Faithless Looting, see if we can't draw anything. If we had Murmuring Mystic still, we could have at least made flying blocking tokens, but Mana Leak and Baral, that's the game. That was a really disappointing end to what was otherwise an incredibly strong league. This will be the last Legacy Cube for a while, because I don't have more time to record, and the league ends today or tomorrow, or it ends at an irrelevant time before I can record again. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this iteration of Legacy Cube. I did. I had a lot of fun, and if you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few times have been earlier than that. And yeah, looking forward to Modern Horizons 2 drafts. Probably not the modern format after it releases, though. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of June. If you want to have your name show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon down in the description below. Thank you all.